So a large language model, think of it like, so they've collected scores and scores and scores of data across the internet, text data, and they've modified it into this sequence of prompt and response. Okay?
Got it.
And they've shown this model to a computer so many times that eventually the computer is, or they've shown this data to the computer so many times that the computer is not, like a lot of people think it's copy pasting. It's not copy pasting. It has started to learn the underpinnings
of why this was made, how this was made.
Yeah.
And then there's a great podcast of Dharmesh on the My First Million where he talks about vector embeddings.
Yeah.
Which is understanding the distance between two ideas.
Yeah.
And matching them with meaning and not just calculating the distance between them.
Yeah. So this is the ingeniosity behind this is something called transformers. Okay. And something called attention. So there's a paper that came out called Attention is All You Need. Very clickbaity title, but it's a cool paper. The idea is this, right? Like if you have a sentence, and one of the biggest use cases for transformers is language translation. Okay. It used to be language translation. You take English, convert it into Kannada, whatever, convert it into Hindi, whatever. But if you take an English statement and convert it into Hindi, let's say, I am a cow. In Hindi, it's not, the word order is different. It's
Correct.
It's not exactly that. It's main, guy, who. Right? So the word order changes. And you can't just say, okay, I'm going to take every single word and swap it out with the other word. So you need to know the meaning between words. You need to know in every sentence, what is the focus word? Like cow would be the focus word. And you need to understand the statement as a whole rather than individually. Right? And to do that, you need to map out words. You need to have enough training data, whatever. GPT is a generative pre-trained transformer. So it's like a transformer, the same technology that I'm talking about, but trained on lots and lots and lots of data.
So this is why Midjourney got sued, which is that Midjourney is an LLM.
No, Midjourney is not an LLM. It probably uses something called diffusion, right?
Okay, got it.
But it like same process.
Same process, which is mapping out lots and lots and lots of data, studying it, and then using an input, studying this data, and giving an output.
Yeah.
So what happens to like whose data is being used to train an LLM, especially if it's a centralized company like OpenAI?
Yeah.
They are using, whose data are they using to train their model?
Yeah.
And
is it legal?
And or is this the meeting of AI and crypto, wherein if it's your data being used to train a model, then you should own a piece of the upside of the model?
It's tricky. I'll tell you why. It's not really copy and paste. It's not like it's taking 10 pictures and it's saying, okay, I will take a little bit of picture one, I'll take a little bit of picture two. It is learning the underpinnings of what makes a good cow or whatever you're prompting for. If you look at the oldest versions of these picture generation algorithms, there's one called based on the CIFAR 10 data set, which is from 5 years ago. Okay, Andre Kapati had put out a tweet about this. You look at the outcomes of those pictures. It was trained on 32x32 size. Okay, you can make out like car parts. You can make out wheels. It's a very blurry this thing. And if you look at Midjourney today, you can get like a Deadpool with like Deadpool in the puddle. It looks really good. So I feel like it's picking out patterns. And if you look at the history of AI, or if you look at the history of image generators from that CIFAR 10 to, let's say, if you look at DALL-E Mini, if you remember DALL-E Mini, and all of those, it's just been getting better at picking out patterns. The problem is, and the reproduction rate is very low. Like it'll almost never reproduce an original picture as is. It's the reproduction rate, if I remember correctly, for Stable Diffusion is 1.something%, which is negligible. So the ethical dilemma here is, yes, you have used artist's work, but fundamentally you're looking at this artist's work and you're learning from it. It's like me looking at, let's say, some really good artist and I'm like, oh, I'm learning from this. Okay?
But yeah, recreating their style.
Yeah, recreating the style. But you can also learn that, right? Like every artist is inspired. Inspiration is always available. Like Pixar probably inspired the next generation of artists. The Lion King has so many movies after it that were inspired by the Lion King style.
No, but say Pixar, right?
Yeah.
This brings us to brand, and brand is the moat in the world of AI. Say Pixar. Now, every time I go on Midjourney and I output, say, hey, my face as a Pixar character.
Yeah.
Shouldn't Pixar get a piece of the upside on that?
No, because you're not saying, Pixar is the brand, okay? But you're saying in Pixar style.
Style.
Yeah. So you're copying Pixar's style. And so far we have never sued anybody for copying somebody's style. Like DMX, the artist, once sued somebody. I don't remember which artist, because DMX has this gruff, like this. He does this dog thing in his voice, right? And he sued somebody for it, and he didn't win. He lost in arbitration, because it's like, how can you copyright your style, right? You might have a significant walking swagger, but you can't copyright that, right? The world would be, an insane place.
The world would know also where X is inspired by.
Yeah, and inspiration is always cool, right? Like even the Beatles, if you look at the Beatles' work, they had a combination of sitar, and then they combined sitar with like the blues, and they combined that with rock. Right? So they really like mash things up. And technically we're mashing things up, right? Like you're a comedian, I'm a computer science engineer, and we're mashing things up. And that's how humans create new things, right? In fact, there's there are, I don't know how true this is, but the entire character of Goku was probably inspired by Sun Wukong. It's the journey to the east or journey to the west or something like that. And Goku is exactly like Sun Wukong. They both have a tail. They both carry that giant stick, right? Which expands and shrinks with whatever. And they're both like monkey. Like Goku has that, he transforms into a big monkey. But if you read through the history, Sun Wukong was predated by Hanuman. And you had a lot of travelers who would go from like northern India to like China. And same story. It's just a story. Like Son of the Wind, same long stick, same tail, looks like a monkey. We don't know if this is true or not. This is all hearsay, right? But what I'm saying is inspiration travels. I'm sure like this place that we are in right now, somebody was like, oh, this is created by a Singaporean artist, like the interiors, okay? The Singaporean interior artist. So inspiration travels, and if you block that and say, boss, you're not allowed to take inspiration from something, then you get into this
slope.
Yeah, slippery slope. Then you have to sue everyone, because I'm sure there's something in your life that you looked at and were like, this is cool, we should make something like it.